If you weren't aware, certain items spawn in specific areas in Exfilzone. In my scav raid tutorial, I made a statement along the lines of certain items spawn in specific areas in Exfilzone. Luckily for you, I did a walk through the suburbs, and I'm going to try my best to offer a comprehensive guide on where the loot is. If your first thought was, well, what about the other maps, or why Suburbs? Don't worry, the other ones are headed to a YouTube near you. Suburbs is broken up into 13 named places of interest. Those places are Farm, Htown, Power Plant, Apartment, Motel, Graveyard, Camp, Troopix, Alti, Villa, Supply Station, Palm Hill, and Autoshop. Additionally, there are a few other locations that are unnamed, which I'll cover later since they're needed for quests and quest items. Let's start with Htown. Htown is the area of the map where you can find police station, the bakery, and a few other buildings. The police station has a gun case and an armor box on the first floor, as well as a locked vault room. Careful with the first floor vault, as there's a way for players to exploit the room and take some of the loot without a key. The upstairs area of police station has 2 gun crates and an armor box, as well as another locked vault area. Household items, food, water, and other junk can be found around the shelves, lockers, and benches within the station. Next to the police station is the bakery. The bakery primarily has household items, food, and water. In front of the building, you can find the blue drill for your quest, as well as a spawn for the low dudes that sell for 25k a piece. On the front desk, there's a register where you can potentially find the bakery key. If you find the bakery key, it can be used on the yellow shed behind the building. The bakery also has 2 computer spawns, one at the front desk by the register and one in the room directly behind the register. These computers have a rare chance to spawn GPUs. Across from the bear statue in the middle of Htown is a greenish brown house where you can find a wooden crate, a few drawers, and some household items. This house is also where you find the family tape for a quest. North of the house, across from the police station, you can find a concrete building that resembles a market. You will primarily find junk items in this building. Moving on from Htown, let's cover Motel. The first floor rooms at Motel mostly drop junk items. There are a few lockers where you can potentially find guns. There's a med box in the room in the southeast corner. Generally, if you're looking for better items, you want to go to the second floor. Hotel room 201 and 206 are vaults at both ends of the motel. The keys for each of these vaults can sometimes spawn on the picnic tables on the second floor. The middle room of the second floor has a desk with lootable drawers and another low dude spawn. The second floor room at the southwest corner can be worth checking, as the bedside drawers sometimes spawn high value items. South of the motel building, there's a large movie screen, and behind that screen you can find a golden chalice that can be used for one of the early quest items. Near motel is the POI apartment. Apartment is distinguished by the tall office looking buildings. Across from the tall office buildings is a garage that has junk items and a wooden crate. The office building itself has potential armor and helmet spawns in the room with mannequins on the first floor, as well as an armor box behind the desk. The white shelves next to the armor box also have the potential to drop high value items. The room on the first floor closest to motel also has a little dude spawn on the shelves. Heading up the stairs, you can find various household items on the desks, a couple lockers, a gun box, and a med box. Office vault is also on the second floor of the building. If you have a quest to find a phone, the phone can also be found in this building on a wooden table next to the lady on the floor. Moving on from apartment, let's head to Alti. Alti has a variety of items. The front of the store where the shelves are have food, water, and some junk item spawns. One of the aisles has a poster of an electric drill, and the drill can spawn next to it somewhat frequently. Drills are useful for future bunker upgrades, so stock up while you can. On one of the shelves on the end near the register, you can find a low dude spawn. In the back rooms of the Alti there's a wood crate, an armor box, and a few lockers surrounded by shelves. The shelves have junk items, as well as a decent chance for a high value loot item. There's also a bathroom in Alti where you can find a camera that's used for an early quest. Alti also has an accessible roof that has an armor box, a wood crate, and various junk items for bunker upgrades. You can also find one of Igor's gunpowder items required for a quest on this roof. West of the Alti you can find 2 garages. Within those garages, there's 2 lockers and a gun case. West of those garages, there's a concrete building, and that building primarily contains junk items for your bunker upgrades or your quests. While it technically isn't part of Alti, it is worth noting that the power plant area between Alti and Autoshop has the other Igor's gunpowder item. It can be found in the blue container located in the middle. Next to that item, you can also find a gun case. While we're in the area, let's talk about Autoshop. Autoshop primarily contains junk items, but one of the side rooms has stalls that can sometimes drop high value items. I have found Contractors discs and the lion statue on multiple occasions in the far stall. The roof of Autoshop also has a gun case and Igor sunglasses spawn up there if you have the quest unlocked. If you're looking for nuts, bolts, wires, or other similar items, it can be worth checking the tops of the barrels and the back of the Autoshop. Moving on from Autoshop, let's cover camp. All of the loot in camp is going to be found in the green tents and the tower. You can find gun crates, armor boxes, lockers, junk item spawns, ammo cans, a few med boxes, wooden crates with grenades, and even a few static weapon spawns. Additionally, if you're looking for intel items, journals and tapes spawn frequently in this area. Now that we've covered camp, let's move on to Palm Hill. This area has a lot of buildings that you cannot access, but the ones you can get into are generally worth checking. The areas around the pool primarily give food, water, and junk items, but occasionally you can find high value items in the pool chairs under the umbrellas. One of the accessible buildings in Palm Hill is the Detective Agency. It is a white building with a blue roof. It is right next to the pools at the lowest point in Palm Hill. The bottom floor of this building has an office room with a computer. This computer doesn't open up, but there are food and water spawns down there, as well as the occasional high value item on the desk. The upstairs portion of this building is where the value is for me. You can find a couple med boxes and various med supply spawns all over the place. Additionally, next to the med box in the surgery room, you can find another little dude spawn. One location in Palm Hill that I feel is slept on is the yellow house near the tall building at the top of the hill. If you're having trouble finding it, it has a tennis court attached to the side of it. I go to this building every time I'm around the area now, and it seems unlooted most of the time. It has no windows and only one way in and out, so it's relatively easy to clear and defend. In the garage of this building, you can find a safe, a med box, an armor box, and 2 ammo cans. There are several junk item spawns around the house, and if you head upstairs, you can find a med box and a PC for potential GPU spawns. Staying on the same side of the map, let's head over to Villa. Villa is on the outskirts of the map and seems more like a chilled POI in my experience. Within the house in Villa, you can find a gun crate, a med box, and a few junk item spawns downstairs. Moving upstairs, you can find a few more junk item spawns, a little dude spawn, and occasionally high value items. I've seen the lion statue and the Showdown disc spawn there a few times. Next to the villa, you can find the supply station. The supply station has a few food and water spawns as well as junk item spawns downstairs. The upstairs of this area has a single weapon crate, a wooden box, and a few junk item spawns. Let's jump back across the map to power plant. Power plant is a good area to check for junk items like nuts, bolts, wire, and more. These items can be found next to the transformers or the square boxes spread around the area. If you enter the building, you can also find an armor box, a locker, and a wooden crate. Additionally, the truck just outside of power plant has a med box you can check for a few meds if you're running low. The next location is Graveyard. Personally, the only thing I've ever found at Graveyard is a couple beers. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but this location generally seems scarce and isn't really worth the trip unless you're just passing through. If you found something other than beer at Graveyard, please let me know in the comments. It seems like it'd be a sneaky place to find a key. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Farm. Farm is a massive POI. For the sake of time, I will pop up a graphic that shows which buildings contain armor boxes and weapon crates, as I feel these are the standout things most people want to find. Aside from the buildings outlined in the graphic, Farm does provide you a relatively uncontested opportunity to collect junk items for quests and bunker upgrades. If you choose Farm to collect these items, be careful around a 20 to 30 minute time frame, as player scavs will start to spawn in this area. Now let's cover the single best location in the map. Troopix, more commonly referred to as Mall, is absolutely massive and likely the part you have the most interest in, so I'll walk you through it counterclockwise to cover as much of it as possible. The mall is the best location for looting a variety of things. There are gun cases, armor boxes, health stores, junk areas, computers, and more. For a little bit of clarification, I will refer to the underground structure as garage, and each floor above that will be 1, 2, 3, and roof. Starting with the loading dock area on the first floor, there are 2 weapon crates and an armor box. In addition to those crates, there are also several boxes and static spawns for junk items. Weapon crates and armor boxes are going to be good spots to check for your kits and weapons. Moving into the mall from the loading docks, you have to cross through some areas I call the back rooms. These back rooms have industrial style shelves. Anytime you see these industrial style shelves, you're going to primarily find junk items to upgrade your bunker, barter with traders, or complete basic turn-in quests. Additionally, this area has some lockers you can check for a variety of items. Moving into the mall on the south side of the first floor, there's a store called Market. Within the market, you will generally find food and water. Additionally, one of the shelves has a med box, which can have bandages, syringes, suture kits, or pills. Behind Market, on the south side through a hallway, there is an office-style room with 2 computers that have possible GPU spawns, 2 lockers, and a weapon crate. Continuing east from the stairs and shelves, there is a PC repair store where you can find 3 PCs with potential GPU spawns. In addition, some of the store shelves can have electronic items like radios and scanners. There are also toolboxes in these shops where you can find tools or other junk items. If you need electronics for bunker upgrades, stores like this are a good place to consistently check on either scav or contractor raids. East of the PC repair store is the sports shoes store. Within this store, you can find armor and helmets on the tables and shelves. There is also an armor box in this store. In the northeast corner of the first floor, you will see a store with a sales sign. This store has armor, helmets, bags, and pouches on the shelves, and an armor box on the front desk. This is one of the areas I prioritize checking each time I'm in the mall. Moving west from that store, there's a hallway that leads to a staircase and a red room. The red room in that hallway hallway has a couple lockers, a few drawers, and most importantly, a PC with a potential GPU spawn. West of the hallway, you can find another gear store. Within that store, you can find armor, helmets, and bags on the shelves. There's also an armor box. This is another solid area that I recommend checking anytime you're in the mall. The last area on the first floor is Burger. This is a cafe that has a static spawn for the little dudes worth 25k a piece and plenty of food and water options. You can go here to load up on food and water so you don't have to purchase them later. Do not sleep on collecting food and water to save money with your traders. In the back of Burger, there is a toolbox and a wooden crate where you can find junk items, pouches, or grenades. Moving up to the second floor, I personally think the middle room has the highest potential for max gains. This middle section is partly closed off and has a mural with blue and red lighting so you know you're in the right area. Within the middle area, there are 2 lockers with potential gun spawns, 2 med boxes, 2 ammo crates, a weapon crate, a wooden crate that commonly drops nades, an armor box, a static armor spawn, and a potential high-value static spawn. In the section with the armor box and the wooden crate, the high-value spawn is on the shelf near the mannequins. The second floor has a med supply store on the east side. The med store has suture kits, bandages, syringes, and pills all over the shelves and in the med boxes. Additionally, the med supply stores also commonly have food and water in the fridges along the walls. On the south end of the mall, near the med store, there is a blue lit room with wooden crates stacked up. This room has a toolbox and a wooden crate that drops junk items and pouches. If you exit that room to the south, you will find a hallway that has an external staircase west and a hallway to the east. If you continue down the hallway away from the outside stairs, there's a red lit room with an armor box and a few lockers that can spawn guns. East of the red lit room, there's an electronics store with several shelves. From the front of the store, it is called Sumley. The shelves in this store commonly drop electronics like scanners, radios, phones, and other electronic related junk items. Many of these junk items will be needed for bunker upgrades in the future. Additionally, various tools can also be found on these shelves. East of that store, you can find the repair store. Within this store, you will find a single PC with a potential GPU spawn, a toolbox, and some shelves that will spawn junk items. In the east corner from this store, you will find a bar area that primarily drops food and water within the booths. Booths are always worth checking as they can sometimes drop surprising items. The corner north of this bar area is another bar that also drops a lot of food and water. The booth in the furthest northeast corner can drop high loot items like contractor discs, lions, badges, and more. Behind the main desk in this bar, there's a room heading west. Always check the wooden shelves in this room as you can sometimes find high value items on their shelves. Additionally, there are several industrial shelves and other junk spawns in this room. Moving up to the third floor, there is another med supply store on the west side, above the med store on the second floor. It is set up similarly and has spawns for meds, food, and water. Heading southeast from the med store, there's a room with a wooden crate and a white filing cabinet. You'll primarily find junk items in this room. East of that store is another relatively empty store that can have static armor spawns and another white filing cabinet. Aside from the potential armor spawns, this room also primarily contains junk items. In the northeast corner of the third floor near the tents is a gear store you should prioritize hitting whenever possible. There are gear spawns all over the store, an armor box in the dark, and a vault room that requires a key. I have found several high-end armor and bag spawns within the store. Moving west, there is a small table area in the middle of the mall. In the closest corner booth, there is a common high loot drop. I have found stone lions and sheriff badges on this table multiple times. North of that table, there should be a side room with sandbags. This room has 2 weapon lockers and a wooden crate. West of this room is another store that has some armor and helmet spawns on the shelves and tables. Back at the end, near the med store, is the pool hall. This room has a wooden crate and a chance for decent items to spawn in the booth at the end. The roof of the mall should not be slept on. First of all, it is a great location to hunt players. You can see them from so far and you've got plenty of cover, but the loot up there is also really helpful. Most importantly, the AC units on the roof commonly have junk items that you might specifically be looking for. I have personally found 6 blue wires on the AC units in one single raid. I've also seen several nuts and bolts for those of you looking for that sweet armory level 2. Additionally, you can find 3 weapon crates and 2 armor boxes on the top of the roof if the stores below didn't provide you with more than you can carry. Now that I've given you the full tour of the mall, let's move back down and check the parking garage. In the east corner of the parking garage, you can find a room that is lit up with a red flare. Within this room, you'll find an armor box and 2 lockers. If the other floors have been stripped, it's always worth checking here as people miss it sometimes. Straight out of the door from this red room, you can find a dark tent with a med box and a wooden crate. Near the exit on the southwest side of the parking garage, you can also find a dark room with a weapon crate and ammo cans. If you explore further into this room, you can also find some industrial shelves that occasionally drop guns. There's also a long hallway at the end of both escalators in the parking garage. This long hall has 3 rooms that split off. Within those rooms, you can find some drawers, a couple lockers, and a wooden crate. The middle area of this hall is where you'll find a few industrial style shelves and the gold ingots needed for a quest. I know this video has been an absolute yap fest and not so many haha funny memes like usual, but these types of games are really difficult to get into, and I wanted to put something out that allowed those of you that are new to the game to kind of see the map and understand where to find things for your quests and your bunker upgrades and everything like that. I really want to grow the game and make it a more enjoyable experience for everybody, so if this helped you, please let me know. I'm looking at making more for the other maps very soon, so any kind of feedback to make those videos better is just going to come right back to you. So this is pretty much the one and only time I'm asking for it.